Good evening, Indians. How are you?
Good evening, sir.
We are sorry about the delay last 2 days. You guys were not having lectures. We were busy with some official works, with three of them. So that's why. So today onwards we'll continue, and this Saturday you will be having lecture as we skipped some lectures. Should I wait for everyone or should I start? So we will start today. First of all, I'll share my screen. So, dear interns, today we'll be going practical with exercises and also command injection attack will go in practical. So, so what we do is that today will be the vulnerable framework that I'll be using is OWASP broken web application. So, does everyone have or does anyone have heard of that OWASP broken web application? Actually, OWASP broken web application is designed by OWASP itself. You must be knowing OWASP top 10. So based on that, they created a vulnerable framework so that we can study various attacks. So first of all, we will have to know what is injection attacks. So injection attacks are those attacks actually which by adding some particular code we are arbitrary code, we can say by putting arbitrary code we are doing some malicious activity on the vulnerable web application. So injection attack can be like uh, there are various injection attacks. It's oh sorry. uh, First I'll show how to install OWASP broken web application. So when you go to the sites OWASP Broken Web Application Project, you can download it from here. .ova format you can download. Once you download, you will get this file, and you can directly click on this file and you can add it to our virtual machine. So I will run this vulnerable framework. So it is already by default username is root and password is OWASP broken web application BWA. So let me. So we have entered OWASP BWA. Now we need to know the IP address. So I am giving the command ifconfig. So I got the command 192.168.1.66. So I am going to run. Please switch off the microphone. Whoever have switched it on, please switch it off. Uh, so I'm going to give the uh, IP address 192. Yeah. So
Ankush
I
sir, please switch off your mic.
So this is how it looks, OWASP BWA. There are various vulnerable frameworks. Now we'll be dealing here is OWASP Mutilidae. Okay. So there you can see there are various vulnerabilities that they have shown, injection attacks, SQL, everything. Oh, then when we talk about injection attacks, actually injection attacks are those attacks which we put arbitrary code, and hence we compromise the system. So injection attacks include SQL attacks, then HTML injection, then there is
Excuse
XSS,
me, sir.
and there are various other file inclusion. There are many injection attacks.
Hello.
So now we'll deal with XSS. In XSS, actually, there are mainly two types of attacks, that is reflected and persistent. So in reflected, what happens is that,
Excuse me, sir.
yeah,
Sir, please could you repeat that whole process? It was so disturbing. मतलब कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा था. आवाज वो हो रही थी. स्वैप हो रही
yeah,
थी.
okay, okay. You need to know how to download OS broken web application.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. That is actually, um, you can just search for OWASP broken web application. Then go to the link sourceforge.net. Then once you scroll down, you can see .ova format file, and just download it. Then once you download, you will get a file similar to this .ova format file, and just double click on it. Once you open it, you should follow those uh, normal, like, see, you should just import it. That's all. Once you import, it will appear on the virtual machine, and just open it. And once you start running, it will ask for password as well as the username. Actually, by default, username is root, and password is OWASP BWA broken web application. So once you configure it, before that you must also take care that in settings, the network connection must be bridge adapter. Okay. So if it is bridge adapter, you can make the uh, host run properly. Okay, so you can connect the server. So once we connect using username and password, we need to find the IP. So for that, if config, it is already given, but I'm just telling you the normal format to find IP address ifconfig. So we get the IP address 192.168.166. So I am running it on my browser now uh, by typing 192.168.1.66. So this is the screen that appears. Sorry, this is not the screen. This is the screen that appears, and here there are various vulnerable frameworks that is available, but we'll be dealing with OWASP Mutilidae. Okay, in OWASP Mutilidae there is various type of vulnerabilities that is given, and these vulnerabilities we'll deal one by one, but today we will be dealing cross-site scripting and command injection. Okay, so cross-site scripting में there are two types mainly, reflected and persistent. Today we'll be dealing this reflected and persistent. So what happens in reflected is that basically cross-site scripting, as I told in the last class, is a uh, malicious JavaScript code is injected into the web application. So one in case of reflected, what happens is that it just get executed only to the web application or the victim, not to the complete database. It does not get stored in the database, so the person who is using only get affected. So in that case, I'll show you one example, then you will be at the end you will be clear. So this is one practical that we must do. Here it is already given. To change the background, we need to give the format. So you see, and I give set background color, so it turned to red. So here we are giving a command, a particular format. There is a particular format, so we understood there is a particular format. So we are trying, like, if we inject some code into it, whether it will get uh, executed. So for that, I'll show what is actually happening in the backend. So the backend, what happens is that I'll open Notepad. So actually, the HTML command looks like this. So basically, this is the command that it looks like usually. So we are giving a text, and if we are giving a value, particular value, here the value that they have given us ff0000. Okay, so once we give this value, it gives red color background. So what we are trying to do is that we are going to inject code by confusing the web application. So here actually the command ends this way. In HTML, the command usually ends this way. So what we do is that we type FFOOO and we start a new command again. So the command that we start, we give a JavaScript code. Okay. JavaScript code always start with script. Uh, so we are going to type hello. Okay. Then we are going to in the script. So once we uh, enter here at the backend, if actually in really what happens is that this is invisible. Actually, this at the backend occurs. So this is there in the uh, this much. It is visible in the backend only. So once we type this much only, we are typing in the input. So along with input, what we are doing is that we are going to inject what script. So it will be like this. What we are going to inject, like so that we can confuse the web application. We are confusing the web application whether it is not sure that it got ended or not. So hello. So this much we will copy it. One more zero is there, right? This much we'll copy and paste it over here. So now we'll type, and you see the command arise. So it shows that there is a error. There is a vulnerability, XSS attack vulnerability to this web application. Okay, this is once we type okay, it is gone. So it is not persistent, it is not stored anywhere. It just appears to the victims only. Okay, now we will deal with persistent one. Persistent means it will get stored in the database itself. So for that I will show you an example. This is blog. So here we are typing hi friends, how are you? Okay, so I'm going to save it. You see it is getting stored in tables as comments. Okay, so we are going to inspect the page, like what is the code. So for that we right click and inspect, and this is one icon where you can see, you can select. Once you click, you can select. You see, once you click here, you see hi friends, how are you? This is stored in the uh, code. So this code come under the tag td. You see td tag. Actually td tag refers to, once we use td tag, there are in last class I told, for putting title there is title tag, then for increasing the size there is h tag, there is for heading head tag. So there are various tags. So similarly td tag is there. So td tag actually is for storing information which is to be stored inside a table. So basically the command will be looking like this. As you saw, you can see hi friends, how are you? This is how the command looks. So what we are going to do is that we are going to inject a code into it, like uh, you see this TD is usually at the back end. This TD and this TD are usually at the back end. So what we do is that we also add a TD, and we'll add a script. Actually, there are various codes for XSS attacks. Like there is a code called document.cookie. So this code is used to steal cookie from the user. So script alert dot document dot cookie leaving, and I am ending the JavaScript code. And I will also end the td command. So the what happens is that this is a basic command, and I'm going to confuse the web application. Like web application reads anything which is coming inside td tag, so I am adding this also inside the td tag. So you can see I'm copying it and I'm going to paste. So and I'm going to save. So you see, you can see it is showing the session ID. So it is very crucial, because once we steal session ID, we can enter the web application using my ID. The hacker can enter the web application using the victim's ID. So this is how the code is executed. We confuse the web application so that we can steal the cookie, we can steal the session ID, etc. And this is persistent. You can see, like once you enter, it gives the session ID. You enter anything, you enter what whatever you want, again the session ID we get. So whoever type anything or enter the command, enter the blog, their session ID hacker will be getting. There are various code so that we can directly, so the hacker can directly get the session ID. So I hope you understood, because this is called persistent, because this command is already stored in the database. So whoever enters the blog and saves it, their session ID, the hacker obtains their session ID. Okay. Now we will look into another attack, that is injection attack, that is command injection. So in command injection, you can see this is a web application. Here they ask to enter IP this is doing DNS lookup. You know what is DNS lookup, right? We get the details of a website. Like once I type, I get the IP address. You guys can see. So before that, I want to tell you what is command injection. So command injection is also using a arbitrary command on a host operating system. And they use multiple commands, not just one. They use various other commands so that they get the complete details about the server. So XSS is a client side attack, and client and command injection is a server side attack. We give a arbitrary command. Actually, arbitrary command means any malicious code or malicious command that we give for a in a wrong way. That is arbitrary command. That is what we meant by arbitrary command. So arbitrary command, we are using our operating system and we are getting information from a remote server. So I will before that you should know uh, how to execute multiple commands together. So for that I will give you an example. uh, like I will once again start the OWASP. Mm, give me some seconds. Here they ask the username, then password, OWASP BWA. So we are in it. Now I will show you how to give multiple commands. Like pwd, you can see the root is showing. So in this case, uh, I will also add, this is one command you almost know, and I will make a directory mkdir, and the directory names I am putting hello. Okay, and when I see the list, see in directory there are already two folders. There is demo and hello. Okay, so what I am doing is that I want to execute pwd command as well as ls command. So what I will do is that I will type pwd, then semicolon, then ls. You can see that both root and demo, both the directory and root, it is showing it. So this is how we add multiple commands. We put semicolon and hence we get combine we combine every command and every commands are executed. And there is other way, like you can execute one command at a time. I think it is, you see, when you put this symbol, you get only one command executed. The other command gives a hold. This will deal in detail when it comes to other topics. So what I want to tell is that if you want to give multiple commands, this is multiple code, we must give a semicolon. So here what I will do is that um, same thing I'll do, google.com, then I'll put as colon and I'll type pwd command. So instead of Google, it, you see what I typed was ls. Okay, so it gave list of all the directories in the server side. It is giving complete details of the server. Okay, so remote server info vsteal. So this is command injection. So we inject a command from a host operating system and we get details from the remote server. So These are two important attacks, and tomorrow we'll be dealing with some other attacks, some more other attacks. So I hope you understood these two attacks properly. Is there any doubt? Huh? Anyone can ask if there is doubt, or else we will wind up.
Sir, it is
Individuals.
possible to temper JavaScript code.
Sorry.
It is possible to temper JavaScript code.
Tambus JavaScript. I didn't get you. Actually, what is the question?
Sir, written in the message box. Can you please read that?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Actually, every code can be tampered. There is nothing like everything is there is nothing secure. Everything can be tampered, and nothing is impossible when it comes to cyber security. When it comes to cyber world,
But sir, how to temper that JavaScript code?
tampering JavaScript code. Actually, the thing is like if you want to tamper JavaScript code, we must have a source code. For example, for every application, there is a source code that you can get. Like you
Okay.
can decrypt using, not decrypt. We can what we say is that we can decode the source code. Decode using various tools are there, and once we decode we read this complete code, and from the code we can find what is the vulnerability. So DevSecOps, what happens is that they know how they can think like a hacker. Like even if we create a code, there is a chance that they can they can tamper the code. So it depends on the source code. So by seeing source code only we can know. And to be honest, I am not that good with coding and all, but the basic is this: once we get the source code, we can the person who knows well will read the code, and they will understand what they in what way they can tamper it. So in DevSecOps, what we do is that we avoid those uh, code rewriting everything.
Okay, sir.
So somebody raised
Sir,
your hands.
sir,
Yeah,
sir, reflected accessor attack is a temporary access attack, na?
yeah, yeah. It is not
And
persistent. Actually, we are giving a malicious code so that the user who is using will only get affected. Like we will send a link, just a link to the victim, so that once they use that link, the person will be affected. That is what happens in
yeah,
reflect.
if I put access attack on the comment, that is a stored access attack.
Sorry.
If I put access attack on the comment box,
Uh,
that is a stored access attack.
Sorry. Shoot me again.
If I put access attack on the comment, that is called stored access attack,
Ha.
isn't it? Na?
Mm, I didn't get your question actually. I'm sorry. You are asking like what is stored XSS attack? Huh?
Yes,
Sir,
yes.
when user can comment section,
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah, yeah, yeah.
put
Okay, okay. Actually,
uh,
what happens is that the code gets stored in the database itself. So once the code has been stored in the database, whoever access, like in reflected, what happens is that there is on the person, the victim uses the malicious link with JavaScript code, huh? But in stored XSS, what happens is that already the applications database, in that, as I showed you, when I showed you in inspect, you saw the complete code, right? That td command, you saw the code, right? Complete. So in that code, they get stored permanently, stored for permanently, so that whoever access from anywhere of any part of the world, whoever access that web application, he will be affected. That is persistent XSS attack, stored XSS attack. I hope you understood. Is it clear? Interns, uh, please reply, or else we will end the meeting.
Clear, sir.
Okay, thank you. Ma'am, is there anything you have to tell? Shefali ma'am?
Is the link working for attendance form? Sir,
Actually, the attendance form is not working yet. There is some issue. So already Shefali ma'am took everyone's attendance. So you can leave now. And thank you. See you tomorrow. Have a good day.